Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Here's another mind opener from the past. Why do we clean glasses when toasting? Let's get started on this. Few social rituals are as widespread or instinctive as cleaning glasses after toast. At weddings, dinners, and bars and pubs around the world, we reach across the table, touch glasses with a satisfying cling and a quick cheers, and take a sip. But where does this custom actually come from? Let's take a look at the origin of this familiar custom and try to sort the myth from reality. I'm not going to read all this, but I don't think it's very long. The poison theory and the most common origin story goes something like this. In medieval times, clinging cups or glasses hard enough would cause liquid to slosh and spill from one vessel into another. So if your drinking companion has poisoned your cup, they'd be consuming poison too. As such, the clinging was a way to show that no drinks had been spiked, whether with belladonna, hemlock, arsenic, mercury, or any other common toxin, poison being a popular way of eliminating one's rivals in the Middle Ages, especially among the nobility. Despite being widely repeated, this theory doesn't make much sense if you think about it, and indeed it's almost certainly not true. Both Snopes and Ripley's have debunked the theory, concluding that all versions of this explanation are false. The logistics alone are problematic. Even if a cup or glass were filled to the brim, which in many cases it would not be. Most of the clinging spillage would land on the floor, not in your companion's cup. And if some drops of ale or wine, diluted poison, did enter, would it be enough to cause much harm? Perhaps not. What's more, as Snopes points out, the practice of toasting someone's health dates back to the ancient world at least well before individual glasses were common. In those times, everyone typically drank using shared vessels rather than carrying around their own glass or cup. Producing your own private drinking vessel at a communal table would likely raise suspicion rather than guard against it. One alternative, says other clinging theories, one alternative theory of no precise origin suggests that clinging glasses was meant to frighten away evil spirits. In medieval Europe, there was a superstitious belief that evil spirits lurked in alcohol or hovered around celebrations. The high pitched sound of touching glass, according to the theory, would chase them away. It's a nice idea, and there may be some truth to the story, but there's scant evidence to support it being the sole or even potential origin in the toast ritual. Blah 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 blah. Another theory suggests the practice was a way to complete the sensory experience of drinking. Sipping wine and toasting already involved sight, touch, smell, and taste. And cling added sound, the last of the five senses. Historian Margaret the Visitor argues that clinging grew in popularity during the 17th century when Venetian glassmakers that's a weird word. Venetian perfected the art of clear, resonant crystal. For the first time, drinking vessels produced a beautiful ring and tone when struck together, and that sensory pleasure became part of the ritual. The bottom line, the most accurate answer to why we clean glasses is also the least satisfying. Nobody really knows for sure. Really, people just do it. The toasting of someone's health is an ancient ritual rooted in Greek and Roman drinking cultures, quite likely long before, and these ancient civilizations may well have knocked their mugs and cups together and rallied celebration or solemn toast or solemn toast. Yeah, you get it. The most delicate cling likely became fashionable in the 17th century when new glassware made the sound more appealing, and possibly because it gave people a way to maintain the communal spirit of shared drinking in an age of individual cups. The one thing that seems almost certain is that the person or that the poison theory holds no water, let alone any wine. Despite being the most widespread theory, repeated at dinner tables and now online, it is almost certainly a myth. Yeah, you can kind of read this. I'll let you pause it, and you can just do what you want. Not let you pause it. You have the authority to pause it if you choose to, not because I said so. Yeah, it doesn't really add up why people do it. I'm looking and see if this has anything to do with what I just read you guys and gals. Yeah, I'm not sure what this stuff is here. Hmm. Well, anyway, you get it. Well, maybe I'll just go all the way down. Yeah, it's just gibber at this point. But alright, thank you so much for watching, everybody. It was just another thing they added on there. So, nobody really knows why it happened. Why would you do something you don't know anything about? Shouldn't you know about it before doing it? Or you do it because everybody else? Here's probably the final thoughts on this is that maybe it's because you're doing what everybody else is doing, and that makes you just as ignorant and naive as the other person, so that you can relate to absolutely nothing and be part of something that was made up from the beginning. But I'm sure there's a possibility that this might have to go back to way, way, way back when. Is my take on this is probably it has something to do with binding rituals, and like for instance different marriages they would wrap stuff around like scarves around each other's hands. You've seen it in old movies and stuff. They have different ways for marriage or binding or becoming as one, and it probably has something related to that. It's some kind of binding ritual, something like that. Maybe just an opinion. This is just one thing that just popped in my head just now. If I had more time to think about it, I might say other things, other possibilities, because my mind will do that. I'll start to put myself in the shoes of that situation, and I'll start to come up with all kinds of possibilities. But right now, it's kind of a quickie. All right, thank you so much. So again, it's probably a ritual. It's probably a ritual of some kind. It has nothing to do with drinking. It has to do with something else. Now, we can go into the dark side of this stuff. Remember back in the rituals, they would actually put blood in cups, and wine sort of represents blood. And so it was probably some kind of evil satanic ritual, or it had something to do with some kind of binding. Well, if it wasn't an evil ritual, then it was some kind of a godly ritual or a marriage type ritual. So it's something to think about. It is some kind of ritual. It's not just about, hey, hi, how you doing, and clinging glasses. There's more to it than that. And usually glasses and dealing with alcohol, wine, anything dark liquid in a glass is a kind of a ritual type of thing. So it could be evil, or it could be some humanity trying to look up to the gods or God. Back then, there was gods, so people had many different ways of worshiping things that wasn't so. There's only one true God, in my opinion, that created everything. Everything else is just a byproduct. All right, thank you so much for watching. It took me quite a while to figure out how to line this up to record it somewhat. It's getting very difficult to do these types of video content. But thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. Moving on to the next video. I don't want the video any longer than it is. Take care of yourselves.